going to do is move the Saturday night live streams over here to Sunday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And I'm in the RV. I've been out traveling. And of course, with it being me, we had a little excitement on the trip when our tire blew. The AAA came and got us started. So I was talking about this over on Facebook, on my Facebook page with somebody, and she wasn't really sure like about AAA memberships and why I really like mine so much. So I'm going to talk about that and perhaps some of the AAA benefits that you didn't know about. But first, I want to say hi, I'm Gayle. Welcome to my Bodacious channel where we're all about not letting life get in the way of living. So that's what Bodacious means. And it means that you're just going to live your life the best you can, no matter what. So I want to invite you to hit the subscribe button and don't forget to give me a like on the video because that really helps me out. When a YouTuber says that giving them a like helps them out, we're not just kidding. It really does help us out. So, all right. So what happened with AAA was we're driving down the road. At that point, we were in Oklahoma. And I've got a like on the video. Thank you very much. And I'm saying video because if you see this on replay, it's your video. But if you see it now, it's a like. So thank you very much for pushing that button. So we are on our way going, across country because grandbaby's birthday, right? All of a sudden, we hear this strange noise coming from the travel. Valerie Reese is here. Hey, Valerie, how'd your trip go? Valerie has been not just out of the town, but she's been out of the country on a medical mission trip. So we're going to have to check her channel out to find out everything about how that went. Super excited. I've been a little bit behind, and I'm going to be catching up. So we get into Oklahoma. We hear this funny noise. We are in the travel trailer, which is where I am right now. And the air conditioner came on a minute ago. So if the air conditioner noise bothers you, let me know, and I'll turn it off on the gizmo right here on the wall. All of a sudden we hear this strange noise, and my husband pulls over, take the exit ramp, and right at the exit there is this large parking lot that used to belong to a restaurant, and the restaurant is now closed and out of business, but it gives me tons of area for him to come and look at the RV. So I called AAA, and they have this app now that they want you to use. So I didn't do that. I stuck with calling them, and they took down all of my information, verified my phone number, my name, my address, all that stuff. And they came out and looked at it, and of course changed the tire. But when I was talking to Cassie, she wanted to find out more about like the AAA membership because she was really surprised. And so everybody knows that AAA does the emergency road service, right? I think most people know that. But what a lot of people don't know is that depending, hold on just a second here, I've got a thing coming in. But depending on the membership that you have, you may also have trip interruption. So that has come into play for us before. And trip interruption just means that if your trip is disrupted and you are more than 100 miles away from your home, they will pay for your hotel bill and your food reimbursement and so forth up to a certain amount. So I think it's, hey, Robert Lawler is here. Hi, Robert. Good to see you. So I think with the AAA Premier, which is like the top tier membership level, I think it's $1,500. So we have had to use that before, and it's a really great benefit. You don't pay anything extra for it. It just comes with your AAA membership. And so what you do is you call AAA, and they come out and take care of your vehicle, whether it's towing or changing the tire or whatever. And then if you have to have a hotel bill, you keep all the receipts. You keep the bills, you keep the food receipts, and so forth, anything that relates to, basically your daily living. And then after you get back home, you file everything with AAA. There's no deductible or anything. You just file it, and then they send the check back to you. So they're a little bit, breakdown can mean different things depending on the situation. It doesn't have to necessarily mean that your vehicle is completely disabled. Back, I guess, about 2 years ago, we were in a situation where, was it 2 years? Anyway, I was in a situation where the air conditioning went out on my van in like triple digits. It was awful, awful, awful. So the air conditioning went out, had to have it towed. Of course, it's a Saturday night, or I didn't have to have it towed. I called AAA and let them know what was going on. And they said I really didn't, if I didn't have to have it towed, then that's fine, they wouldn't tow it. But if I thought I was going to get sick or something, it was going to impair my driving capability, then they could tow it. But the shops were closed. I mean, this is a Saturday night, and your repair shops are not open on Saturday nights. They close, usually around 6 or so. So I'm like, no, I'll drive it. I'll get a hotel room, all that stuff. So I had the hotel room that I had to deal with Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday night, and it was Tuesday after checkout time before I could get back on the road. So AAA reimbursed for all of that, and I was in the van, and I had left the dog food and everything in the van. So I had to call and have that delivered, and AAA covered even his dog food and didn't have to worry about anything like that. Of course, I'm a service dog, so he's medical, but I was still really impressed that AAA covered it. And yeah, we got back on the road, got home, filed it, got reimbursed, couldn't ask for better. So when I was talking to Cassie on Facebook Messenger, she was just really surprised because she didn't know that AAA had trip interruption. And this is not a commercial for AAA at all. It's just that we were talking and she was surprised, so I wanted to, do a little live stream, kind of for her and anybody else who may not know that that's a AAA benefit. But it really gives me a big peace of mind when I'm on the road, because it's just one less thing to have to worry about. And of course, AAA kicked in. But another thing that AAA does that a lot of people don't know is if you're out and you do something like locking your keys in the house, like I did, they'll come out and get you into your house. If you lock your keys in the car, they'll come out and get you into your car, which are two really great benefits. So anyway, that's just a couple of things that I like. It's just, it makes me feel better to know like somebody out there's got my back, So let me go in here to the chat. How did the new wall AC hold up in the van? It did great. We have it in the back window, but I don't know if you heard, I wrecked the van actually about 3 weeks or so now. And because of Hurricane Helene, there is a huge backlog on getting vehicles repaired. So I won't, 10 to 12 weeks. So I probably won't know until like the first, what the damage is on the van, but nothing in the van moved, okay? I was so impressed. My husband's first words to me, well, after he found out I wrecked, was, did you get hit by the air conditioner? That's like always his main fear, And I did not. The air conditioner stayed in place. It didn't move. It didn't come flying out. It looks fine. The solar panel on the ceiling, that was fine. That didn't move. The battery, I have a 200 amp hour Wise battery in the travel trailer. That stayed in place. You know, the cabinet, the bath cabinet, sink, everything like that. The only thing that moved was the bed is not fastened down to the floor, so it came out, kind of swung a little bit, but nothing inside broke, and it all stayed in place. So that went out fine. Um, and the solar panel on the roof, that was the other thing that I was concerned about, but it didn't look like it moved. Like I didn't, I wasn't able to get like up high on the scaffolding to check it, but from where I could get up and I could reach it and kind of try to, move it side to side or front to back, um, it didn't budge. So all of that held. So, um, yeah, I was really impressed. It was not the prettiest build, but it was functional. For me, I'd rather have function over looks. So if you're used to woodworking, don't my van apart when you look at some of the videos. Um, but yeah, it did great. And let's see, Quentin, which by the way, hi Quentin, says, I'm sorry to hear. Glad you're okay. Can I ask how the setup worked, and were you able to run it off the solar no problem anytime you wanted? It sounds like a solid build. Yeah, it was a great build. Um, the thing about solar is, just for those who are listening who don't really understand how solar works, which Quentin, you probably do since you're asking the question. So you have the solar panel that is sort of generating the electricity. Um, that feeds into the battery. So you don't necessarily use the solar coming straight off of the panel, because it's got to be changed, it's got to be inverted, and so forth. So it's the energy is stored in the battery. So anything you run, you're running off the battery. Okay. So we originally started out with a 100 amp hour battery, and that was very helpful, but I could only run the air conditioner about 45 minutes to an hour before the battery just shut down. Most of the time that was fine, and it would be enough to cool the van off at night, because I have a lot of insulation in the van. And if anybody's listening to this and you're thinking about doing a van build, put more insulation in the van than you think you're going to need, because it still may not be enough. Okay, so just stuff those walls with the insulation. Now in my case, I've got a layer of Reflectix, which just reflects the heat, and I've got that, plus I've got 1 inch of styrofoam, plus I have more of the pink insulation. And then I went and decided that really wasn't enough to make me happy. And at the time we were getting Misfit boxes, which are these food boxes. It's produce, and they were being delivered once a week. So I saved all the insulation. We pulled the walls down, and then later I added two more, 2 more inches of that into the walls. So I have several inches of insulation, and with that, the air conditioner running for about 45 minutes to an hour made it really comfortable at night. I also kind of blocked off the back end of the van to help keep that cool back there. So that was really good. But I wanted a little bit more, especially for when I go out to the desert Southwest. So we upped the battery to the 200 amp hour battery, and that gives me about 2 hours of running time with the air conditioner. Now that's with it going at full blast, okay? So yeah, I'm really happy with it. Now, if I'm not running the air conditioner, then I can do my cooking, I can charge my devices, run a small heater, run a fan, things like that. So I can pretty much do that all at the same time. Of course, it is pulling on the battery. And you want to be careful about what wattage is on your appliances to make sure your inverter can handle it. And I've got a 1500 watt inverter. Um, two things, two things that I would want to change about the system for the next build is I would probably go with lithium batteries. In fact, I know I would. I've got two sitting in my living room. I just now don't have anything to install them in for a while. But I would go lithium. I would go for more lithium batteries than just the 200 amp hours. I would up that. And the other thing is I would upgrade to a bigger inverter and go maybe from 1500 to 3000. One of the things that you really need to know about the solar setup is when you plug something in and it first starts up, you've got a double pull. So if you're, I'm just going to pick on my mini griddle because I cook with that all the time in the van. I love it. It's perfect. I can do tons of stuff in it. You know, when it's just me, it is absolutely perfect. It draws 400 watts. And when you plug it in and you first start it, then it does a kind of a double pull. So you actually pull 800 watts on that really initial spike. So if your inverter is only rated for like 750 watts, it's not going to pull the little mini griddle or much of anything else. But if you do, obviously, if you go the 1500 watt route, then you can do appliances up to like 750 watts. I'm going to say 700 watts just to give a little bit of a cushion there. But I'd like to go up to a 3000 so I can plug in anything with that, especially with that first thing. So I hope that helps because that's what I would do. Also, I will tell you, we have, and I just freaking love this. I got a 400 watt solar suitcase panel from Renogy. I really like that, but I like that better for the RV than I do for the van, just because it's easier to hook it up to the RV. I'm going to have to do some upgrading on the van to really make that work, but I've got a 200 watt solar panel for the roof of the van sitting in my living room. I spent so much money on trying to go ahead and upgrade a couple of things and then wreck the van, so I feel really stupid about that. But as soon as I get it back, if I get it back, then it's going to have the 200 amp hour battery, two 100 amp hour lithium batteries, and then the 200 watt solar panel up on the roof. So that's my big plans, as long as I get it back. So I hope that helps. Sorry, my throat is a little scratchy tonight. I am in the desert Southwest out here in New Mexico, and it is not the weather that we have in the Appalachian Mountains. Just saying. So, yeah, there you go. But yeah, any questions you guys have about the van or solar or whatever, just let me know. You know, either ask them in the chat right now or drop them down in the comments section. I'll do my best to answer. My service dog, that's what you just heard. If you heard the thunder of paws, he is getting back up there toward the front. So, and I'll go ahead and tell you, some people ask me, why do I have the RV if I have the van? Or why do I have the van if I have the RV? And I'm going to do a video on some of the pros and cons of each. But I know Cassie, who I was talking to about the AAA stuff, I know she's going to be coming back and watching this. And she's also one of the ones who asked. So for her and everybody who is listening, and thank you all again, those of you who are leaving a like, I really do appreciate it. So don't forget to give me a like on the video and on the live stream if you haven't already. But I like having both. And so I had the van converted into a camper, had that first, and it is great for traveling. I absolutely love it. But the challenge came in when I had my husband with me, because van life for two people is a lot more complicated than one, because you're really in each other's personal space. At least you are when you're in a Chevy Express. Now, you're still going to be in somebody's personal space when you're in like a large ProMaster or something that's got the raised roof, but you have a little more room to move around than you do in the Express. And the other thing, quite frankly, is my service dog. I mean, he's a 65-pound lab. He's not a little teacup chihuahua, so he takes up more space too. So, because we were constantly climbing over each other, my husband was like, let's just look at travel trailers. So, we looked and looked and finally found a small travel trailer. It's not big enough to have the slide outs, it's really kind of small, but we really like it for when we're traveling together. And it's got a really nice bathroom on it, and that was one of the things that was kind of a selling point actually for the RV. So some of the pros I'm going to talk about with van life, since that's really where my heart is you can, it's just so much cheaper on gasoline, and I like that because it just makes life so much simpler. So, okay, I'm getting about 15 miles to the gallon. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but it's better than some vehicles, I promise you, as far as vans are concerned. And we are talking about a 2006 Chevy Express, not a 2025 model, okay? So it's less gasoline than what we get with the Jeep pulling the travel trailer. It's easier to park. I could park at any regular size parking space. I mean, it's a van. So I'm not having to park in the back 40 of some dark parking lot. If I'm going to go to Walmart or somewhere and I'm going to spend the night at Walmart, number one, I can spend the night at Walmart. Number two, I can park it in any regular parking space, which means I can park it up closer to the building. And I like to do that because if you park up closer to the building, then you're less likely, I feel like, to have problems with somebody trying to like break into the van or anything like that. And I also like to park underneath a light in the evening because, you know, your solar panel that's on the ceiling is always collecting sunlight, and it gets a little bit of light from the parking lot lights. So I try to park directly under that because of safety and because of the electricity. So I really like my van for that reason, and just the maneuverability is just so much better than it is with a travel trailer. You do have some cons in that, you know, when you put a solar panel on the roof, it's not stealthy. Everybody knows that there's something weird about that van. Stick an air conditioner in the back window, and it's even less stealthy, and it sort of screams, "This is a weird van." Christopher Cato, hi, welcome. Good to see you. Good to see you. Don't forget to give me a like on the live stream, please, when you get to the point where you like it. I started off talking about the AAA membership and answering Quentin's question about the solar and the van build and so forth, and talking about a little bit of pros and cons real quick about the van versus the travel trailer and why I have both. So I have the van because it makes me happy. I've had some weird experiences in the van, I know, and something happens to me like on every trip out. You know, if it's a big trip, something is going to happen to me. That's just the way my life is. Um, but the van, yeah, it's just so much more maneuverable. It's easy on gas. The other thing, though, that I really, really, really like about having the van is the ability that if I'm in a sketchy area, I can leave pretty easily. I just go from the bed in the back to the front seat, start the engine, and gone. Whereas with the travel trailer, if I'm in an area where it's going to start to get sketchy, then I have to leave the travel trailer, go around the travel trailer, get in the driver's seat, and then start the car and leave. You know, I really like just being able to step into the front seat and I'm gone. So I really like all that. Of course, the downside is I don't have a good place to shower in the van, and I don't have a good place to use the bathroom in the van. So in the RV, of course, I have bigger tanks. I'm not using a camping toilet. I've got the shower. And those are nice things, but I still like the van better. you know. But I would definitely encourage anybody who's looking or thinking about a van to definitely get a camp toilet. It's a game changer. Solar in my camp toilet, in my sink, and I am all set. So that's what I like about the van. The downside, like I said, is once you start putting solar on the roof, air conditioning in the back, then I mean you lose your stealth factor. So if stealth is important to you, don't do those things. Um, I'm okay with not being stealthy. No problems there. So yeah, I'm good with those. Also, I do put the curtains up on the windows to kind of block everything out. But you do that for the travel trailer too. I mean, right here, I've got curtain shears and a blackout curtain. Same thing with the van. The big difference is, of course, in an RV, those stay up all the time, and in the van, you're putting them up yourself. Hey, Amber's here. Hi, Amber. Welcome. Good to see you. Good to see you. Please give me a like on the live stream when you get to that point where you like it, if you don't mind. Now, y'all, I'm just going to say that Amber helped me learn a lot from solar, about solar, and I really appreciate it. So, thank you. Um, Thank you. Amber says good to see you too. So, yay. Um, so yeah, that's some of the things I really like about the van. Plus for one person, it's kind of neat. It's compact, and I can sit in the middle of my van and pretty much reach anything that I need, which is really helpful if I'm cooking. Okay. Um, the bed that I have, you do lose some comfort when you go from the RV to the van. The bed's not as comfortable as what I would like. But here's the thing, that's something you can change. And that's what I was in the process of doing right before I wrecked it. That's why I was collecting the batteries and stuff like that I was talking about a little while ago. So anytime you do a van build and you do it yourself, it can all be as temporary or as permanent as you, the van owner, wants it to be. So if you put stuff in there and 2 months later you don't like it, take it out. If you don't like the floor plan, change it. That's a really one of the big things that I like about my van. And I will tell you, I have probably done 5 incarnations of the van at least. So yeah. So those are some of the things that I like about it. Now, some of the cons, of course, is the fact that you don't have a nice large sink for you to do dishes. So if it's important for you to have a large sink to do dishes, you can put that in if you want to. I opted not to. The other things about, travel trailer versus van, you have more room. Like I said, we got a full bathroom back here. Good size shower, good size toileting area, the sink. It's small, but it's full sized. I mean, and full sized in the sense that you have everything that you would have in your home bathroom. That's obviously not something you're going to have in your van, just because of you don't have the space. And of course, in the RV, you've got bigger cooking facilities. I have 3 gas burners over here on the stove, which is covered up with other stuff. There we go. So I've got that, plus the kitchen sink, the cabinets up above. I've got almost a full-size refrigerator here. Just almost. I think the guys where we bought the RV, I think they said it was a 3/4 refrigerator, which that feels about right. Now the freezer is the same size I have in my little freezer at home. So I really like that. And of course, with a van, you've got a smaller refrigerator. I've got like a 16-quart refrigerator in my van, which is plenty big enough for me. And when we're out traveling, I take the refrigerator out of the van because it's small. It's a set power that's kind of small, and I put it right over into the Jeep, and so we can keep our drinks cold, sandwich meat, whatever, if we're going to go out to a picnic or something. I'm freezing a little bit to let you know. Thank you for telling me. I had no idea. But I'm in New Mexico. I thought I had enough signal to not do that, so I'm sorry. Not a lot I can do, to be honest with you about that. This is not a Wi-Fi area. This is a mobile cell service area, so that's what I'm on. But thank you for telling me. Oh, Amber's also asking if I have TikTok. Yes. Always be bodacious over on TikTok. Yeah. Yep, far from home. Far from home. I am. It's a far cry from the Appalachian Mountains to the desert Southwest. But it's grandbaby's birthday weekend, so I have to be here. Cool, I'll look you up. Please do, I'll follow you back. Yeah, do that. So I'm out here for the grandbaby's birthday weekend. So, what you gonna do? Where was I? Let's see. Oh, pros about the RV. And of course, with the RV, you've got bigger tanks for your shower, which is your gray water, and of course, bigger tank for your toilet because that's your black water. You're going to need hookups to be able to drain those. In the van, I have a 3-gallon water bottle for my gray water, and I have the camping toilet for obviously the bathroom. So I don't necessarily have to find an RV dump to take care of those things. The camping toilet, it's up to 5 gallons, and I can pretty much dump that at a rest area or wherever. Just, take the 2 pieces apart, go into the bathroom, and dump. You're good. Same thing with the gray water. RV, I've got to find a place, but the tanks are big enough that sometimes, depending on where we go, I can just wait till I get home and take care of that at home. So that, that's part of the thing about the RV. That's why my husband likes it, is because of the more space, the bathroom, and so forth. Now, our RV is a travel trailer, and it's a small one. And I wanted a small one, so I didn't have some big monstrosity that we're pulling with the Jeep. I wanted something that was going to be smaller because it's more maneuverable, it's easier to drive, it's easier to pull up mountains, it's easier to stop going down mountains. For me, it's just easier. So we have that, and it's got one advantage that the van does not have, is when you take the trailer and drop it, you just have a regular sized vehicle that you're running around in. So if you want to go on like some national park driving loops and so forth, you don't have the problems with maneuverability Like there are some that you just, no, I'm showing 4. Amber's asking, am I the only one in here? I'm showing 4. I'm showing 4. So you're not the only one. I think you're just the only one talking. So if somebody wants to dive in and talk to Amber, we're at 3 now. So if one of the 3 of y'all want to dive in and say hi to Amber, I'm sure she'd be fine with it. Oh, good. You're following me now on TikTok. Okay, I'll go follow you after the live stream. See, Amber, Valerie's here. Valerie's here. So yay. So yeah. So anyway, when you drop the trailer and disconnect it, and you have a regular size vehicle that you're driving, there are some places like the National Bison Range actually limits the size of the vehicles, and sometimes the van is just right at that limit for size and weight, and you've got to always be aware of that. The whole thing about maneuverability is really important to me, but I still feel like the van, for me, is a better vehicle for traveling than the RV. My husband likes the RV. So, we're a divided household. What can I say? I guess some people could call that a mixed marriage. The van girl versus the RV guy. So, yeah. So, okay. What have I got? I just flashed. Okay. Oh, no. Something just flashed on the screen. Anyway. So those are kind of my thoughts on the pros and cons a little bit, briefly, on the 2 vehicles. Also, the tires on the van are about the same cost as the tires on the travel trailer. The tires on the Jeep Cherokee that we use to pull the travel trailer with are actually higher than either one of the other 2 tires. And we're talking about not for the super cheap tires, but like a tier or 2 up on either one of them. So that's always a factor. And as far as pulling the travel trailer versus the van, we actually get a little bit less on the miles per gallon pulling the trailer than we do with the van. But we do tend to pull it with water in the tanks, whereas with the van, my tank is a 5-gallon water bottle. 3-gallon water bottle. I've got 2 of those and another bottle, and that's my water. So, I'm not carrying all the weight that we do, like we do with the RV plus the tanks. And the more weight you have in your vehicle, or that you're pulling with your vehicle, the less your gas mileage is. Hey, Assembly! Welcome! So, that weight and what you have in it, that lowers your gas mileage, and that's why with the van, we actually have a better gas mileage than pulling the RV. And with either one of them, you're sleeping in the vehicle, so you're saving money on a hotel room. The van, I don't necessarily always look for hookups in either one, but I'm more likely in the RV to need your electric, your water, your dump station than I am in the van. So I will spend fewer nights at campgrounds in the van than I do here in the RV, which helps, again, with the cost. And that's frankly one of the reasons why I like the van. The average cost of a hotel right now, can y'all guess what it might be? I'm just going to let you all guess. Type something in the chat room, and yeah, I'll come back to that in just a minute. But with either one, you are saving the cost of the hotels, unless there is some kind of emergency with the vehicle, or if the weather is just terrible. Several years ago, when I was going through an area that had a tornado warning, and had enough hail to really hit that per night, I'd look for a hotel room. But otherwise, I'm free of hotels. Valerie, Robert is saying 90,000. Valerie's saying 300 a night. It actually is $160 a night plus tax. That's what I just saw 2 nights ago when I was looking at the average hotel cost. So, yeah, anytime you can even go into a campground and spending $30, you're still saving $130. So it's crazy what some of these prices are. So it's just, I feel like it's still worth it to be out, even though anytime I'm on a big trip, something happens. I feel like it's still worth it because you get so much out of traveling. It's you get the break, you get away. You all know how that is, needing a break. Amber says she's got a great campground to visit with her, and John went for a few nights with his cousin and his wife. I look forward to that. You'll have to message me with where it is. Yeah. Yeah, and you can message me on TikTok or leave a comment here or hit me up over on Facebook. Either one of those. You can message me on Instagram, but I tend not to check that quite as much. But yeah, I get a lot out of traveling. Yeah, plus I don't like staying home. But traveling gets you away. It changes your whole. If you're down in the dumps, go plan a vacation because it helps. Uh, and you will just learn so much, like when you're traveling. There's so much about different parts of the country have like a different flavor and a different culture, and learning and seeing those different vibes for me is really cool. I like that. Don't know about you all. I hope you like it. But because, well, think about it. You've got a very different. I'm in the desert Southwest right now. I'm in New Mexico. There's a lot of Native American history, a lot of early Spanish missions here in New Mexico that actually predate the landing at Plymouth Rock when the Pilgrims came in. And there's just a very different vibe here. There's a lot of like green chili. It's just part of the fabric of life here. And they'll put green chili on hamburgers, pizzas, and you name it, just for an example. But if I go to New Orleans, and I'm walking down, Bourbon Street, doing the whole French Quarter thing, and you've got jazz constantly playing, and you've got all the Cajun flavors and Cajun foods and a different accent and a different vibe, and then I get back home to the Appalachian Mountains, and it's got a different flavor and a different vibe. And I mean that literally. The Appalachians are the home of biscuits, grits, and gravy. That's part of the language. It's just part of the culture, and that's just how it is. In New Orleans, it's more of your French food and your beignets and your pastry shops, and in the desert Southwest, like I said, it's all green chilies. Burritos and green chilies. I had a burrito for breakfast this morning that would just end all burritos. It was delicious. But it had steak, potatoes, cheese, and steak, potatoes, cheese. Oh, and green peppers, bell peppers. Don't ever say green peppers and if you're at a restaurant here, because you will get green chili peppers and you might be slightly disappointed. That was my breakfast burrito. My husband got all that plus eggs and chorizo and stuff like that. I'm not going to get that in the Appalachian Mountains. I promise you. So if you are ever from the desert Southwest and you visit rural Appalachia, yeah, don't plan on getting your burrito, okay? It's not happening. Oh. Yeah, it's amazing. Assembly of Excellent podcast is saying, wish I could hit the road and just enjoy the ride. Yeah, it's amazing. And of course, all of this has a different flavor and vibe than New York. If you go to New York, then you're talking about the language of bagels, lox, and cream cheese, and you have that whole vibrant flair going on. You can go to Macy's and you can ride the oldest continually working escalator in the country. That's at Macy's. It's wood. It's really cool. Go do that. You know, and St. Patrick's Church, got to go do that if you're in New York. And of course, a lot of neat stuff, not just in like the theater district in Manhattan and Chelsea and so forth, but go over to Brooklyn. Nice parks, stuff like that. Everything's on the water. Head over to Long Island. You'll go top beaches, worldwide known, just great beaches. And there is a movie theater, just a theater for plays, just right on the water out there, and it's just the coolest thing. So it's just a lot of, there's just, our country is just so amazing in the differences, in the different flavors, and that's what I like about traveling. Valerie is over here. She says she likes traveling too. And Amber's saying, read my last comment. Okay. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Okay. The one about the campground. That's the last comment I'm seeing. So if you have another one, I've missed it. But the one about the campground, you have a great one for us to visit. And yeah, I said message me either here or TikTok. Facebook is good. I don't really, I have an Instagram account, but I'm using it less. So you can message me on there, but it's going to take me a little longer. So yeah, but that's the last one that I see. So yeah, but there's just so many advantages to traveling. And it's really, you know, everybody I think can get away. Now, you're getting away may be a little different, like if you're in New York, you may go out to the island for a day. You don't even have to spend the night. You can take a 1-day vacation, go out, or leave early, come back late, and just relax and have a good time. If you are, let's say, rural Appalachia, close to where I am, go to the nearest, like, town, the nearest city. Like from Abingdon, let's say I want to go to Bristol, Virginia. It's about 30, 40 minutes away. I can spend my time doing either the day trip or even an overnight when I can get a special if I want a hotel room, and just enjoy the vibe and the flavor there. It doesn't have, getting away doesn't have to be a van, or it doesn't have to be an RV. It doesn't have to be super expensive, super elaborate, and it doesn't have to be far away, just to give you kind of a mental break, and to get you experiencing something different. Yeah, and Amber said, yes, I made a suggestion above. Let me just flip through this. Okay, I don't see the name. Oh, wait, yes, I do. It's way on up there. It's a couple of comments up. AQEP, AOEP. No, you're saying hi. I'm sorry. Amber, I thought you were blue. You've been a moderator. Okay, now, there you go. You should be blue now. Make a comment. I'll see if you're blue. You should be. Yeah, and Amber and I have been out together. We like the Cracker Barrel. I'm sorry. Good grief. Golden Corral that we went to will never be the same. We had so much fun. So much fun. But yeah, but traveling doesn't have to be big and complicated or super expensive just to be able to take a break. But yeah. I do have something funny for you. Bristol, Virginia. Okay, the state line between Bristol, Tennessee and Bristol, Virginia runs straight down the middle of town. It's like in the middle of State Street, which, you know, the street that it's on. During COVID, during COVID, Tennessee did not close. Like, we shut nothing down during COVID. But Virginia shut down a lot of places, and there was a lot of mask wearing and so forth. Not so in Tennessee. But there were workers in Virginia that were essential workers, and I knew this was going to happen. Okay, and I just heard the story the other day of it actually happening, where a woman was talking to her previously young child and saying that during COVID, get this, y'all are going to love it, during COVID, they had to walk from Virginia all the way over into Tennessee to get something to eat. As an essential worker, they had to walk. And if it snowed, it was in the snow both ways. Because you know what? They were crossing the street. Literally crossing the street to go from the state of Virginia to the state of Tennessee. So let that be your laugh for the evening. It's just a new takeoff of when I went to school. You know, back in the day, I had to walk uphill in the snow both ways to school. You know, except this time they're walking all the way from Virginia to Tennessee just to get a sandwich during COVID. And in the snow, it literally would have been both ways because they're crossing the street. What can I say? Hey, Grandma Lynn is here. Hi, Grandma. Grandma Lynn has a great channel. Y'all should go check that out. Very positive Christian. Just, she takes you with her for walks. So go check her out. Check Amber out. Check Valerie out. Really neat stuff there. And if you like podcasts that are just deep podcasts that really hit some of the issues, then Assembly of Excellence is also one that you're going to want to check out because they don't shy away from some of the tough issues. So, yeah. So yeah, I just thought you all might find that funny about Virginia. The whole town of Bristol, Tennessee there, which is halfway in Tennessee, halfway in Virginia. Line goes through downtown. Even with that, you still have some different flavors because, you know, the line goes through downtown, but you're still looking at two separate states. So you still have Bristol, Tennessee, Bristol, Virginia, different taxes, different upkeep, just different everything. And so it's really interesting to me because even the vibe is different because you've got different restaurants in the Bristol, Tennessee side than you do on the Bristol, Virginia side. And if you want to go to like a shopping area, then that's going to be Bristol, Tennessee because they don't have really anything quite like that on the Virginia side of Bristol. And it just tends to be a little bit quieter. So it's just really interesting to me, and that's one of the things about traveling that kind of surprises me, and that's not something I would expect. You would think that having a line going down through the middle of the city would just be just a line, but it's really a lot more than that. Let's see. I'm not seeing your campground comment. No, I'm not. Okay, Amber is saying she mentioned Hill, Michigan campground. It's really nice. I'm just going to flip back through here. I don't know how I'm missing that. No, I don't see it. I don't see that comment at all. I'm sorry. I don't know what's up. I'm sorry. And Amber's saying, check out her main channel, Country Living and Adventures, which is also a really cool channel. Amber and I go back for a while, met on YouTube. Dynamite friend, dynamite person. Logan's Kingdom is in. Hi, Logan Kingdom. Are you the Sigma? No. No, I'm just me. Just be Bodacious. Which, for those of you who may not be familiar or you're just coming in, that stands, be Bodacious stands for just don't let life get in the way of living. Because it will, and we just have to find a way around the challenges so that we can live. And we all have challenges, right? So yeah, got to find a way to do that. So, and if y'all haven't given me a like on the live stream, go ahead and hit that like button, because that really does help me out. Let's see, Amber says, oh, it's really nice. Free fishing, no license needed, and full showers on site. That's cool. Now, we are parked this time. We're in a campground right next to like a very small lake, so like lower expectations. But the wardens were out here with Fish and Wildlife checking licenses out there. So if you're ever in New Mexico, they do check for that. Logan's Kingdom, I started off answering a question about AAA and AAA memberships and why I like it, and started talking about solar on my van and van life versus the RV, and talking about just traveling in general. Yeah, I had to come out here, desert Southwest New Mexico, because, you know, grandbaby's birthday party. And she turned 3 today. I'm just going to take a proud grandma moment and just brag, because I have got an adorable, sweet little 3-year-old grandbaby, but she is a little pistol. And so what happened was, it's her birthday weekend, right? So she comes out and she's like, ah, no, peep on. She's doing that. She's all so cute. And people's like, hey, he's like, let me put these down. I've got it, you know, we have the dog, and so we're trying to walk around Pipsy and not fall and stuff. And he looks at her, he says, let me put my stuff down, because you want me to go get your birthday present, right? And she goes, without even hesitation or pause, yep, go get it. And so he had to go out to the car and get it. She's just a pistol. Amber says, my husband's cousin is friends with a campground owner. Cool. Because I know you guys are kind of picky on things like that, so I know it's going to be a good one. So I like the free fishing idea. That's going to be a good one for Valerie too, because Valerie likes to fish. I haven't gotten to go in a while. I keep thinking I'll get out there, but I've had other things happening. You know, the world has been kind of crazy. And quick hurricane update before I go. We still have people who are living in difficult circumstances. And every single time I think we got somebody out of a tent and everybody's in a trailer, boom, somebody's got a tent popping up. And part of that is because some of the trailers that were donated to us, these are mostly trailers that have been sitting in somebody's yard. Because like FEMA, I'm not even going to go there. But let's just say we don't have any trailers from FEMA. So some of the people who received trailers from big-hearted individuals who donated them, a lot of them were in rougher shape than what I think the donor realized. And so now that the weather's a little bit better, they're actually going into tents and coming out of the trailers. So it gives us something to work on a little bit quicker. But we've got great volunteers in who thankfully have been helping us navigate this big mess. And I will say one thing that's kind of messed with my mind a little bit on this trip is we have not seen, lots of damaged houses. The houses that we've seen have had the roofs on them. The trees have not been like falling down. We don't see evidence of landslides. And so I had this happen a couple of months ago when we went to Knoxville, and it's like almost this huge kind of a disconnect almost, just because things are still kind of haphazard at home in some ways. And it, yeah, it's just, I can't even explain it right. It's just, it seems almost like so strange that we're on the road and like everything's working. It's just kind of this whole refiguration almost of realization. So it's just different, just really different. Yay! Happy birthday to her too. That's cool. I hope to see 92 in livable condition with my mental facilities intact. That's so cool. Well, all right, you all. We've been on here an hour. And please don't forget, please give me a like, a thumbs up, big thumbs up on this live stream, because that tells YouTube that somebody got some value out of it. And that is so helpful with the algorithms. Huge help. So if you all could do that, I would appreciate it. Oh, Busy Lady is in. Hey, Busy. It's good to see you. But I am just now signing off. So what I'm doing is I'm moving the live streams from Saturday night to Sunday night, still at 7:30. And that just, when I was asking people on the live streams on both Saturday nights and Sunday nights, more people said Sunday than said Saturday. So, which ironically, we started out on Sunday nights. So I'm going to go back to that. All right. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Busy. But y'all take care. Go out. Have a great week. Always be bodacious. Do not let life get in the way of living. Take care, and I will see you all Sunday night for the next live stream. All right. Good night, everyone. Good night.